Hello there and welcome to www.henrythejedi.com. Oh yeah, welcome to yet another exciting tutorial, guys, and today's tutorial is going to start with a nice question. Now the question is, let me ask you a question, of course. Is it possible to wear awesomeness? Okay, is it possible to radiate creativity through the clothes that you wear? Okay, is it possible really in real life? Is it possible to dress up in awesomeness? And I believe right here at henrythejedi.com we managed to answer that question, and our answer to that is yes, it is possible to wear awesomeness. And as you can see, we've launched our new henrythejedi.com t-shirt. Very beautiful t-shirt to look at. As you can see, I can't stop browsing through our gallery here where we show all the pictures, showing you guys how good you're gonna look in them. Okay, of course we tell you, of course, who said that artists don't need to look good. Okay, because with henrythejedi.com t-shirts you get to wear and to become the center of attraction and attractiveness, and I mean, who wouldn't want that, you know? And of course we have various sizes to choose from, be it medium size or large or extra large, and of course it's also suitable for men and women of most ages. Okay, so yeah, we have our beautiful henrythejedi.com t-shirts. That's myself, by the way. That's Henrythejedi himself, dressed up in awesomeness, you know. Thank you for the compliments, guys. Yeah, so we are going to use a tutorial in Adobe After Effects in which we are going to take all these beautiful henrythejedi.com t-shirts and create an animation out of them. There is something about an animal called the tiger. I know it lives mainly in India and in Asia, okay? But there is just something that me and my friend Gianna tend to like about this animal. It's strength, its dignity, its power, and its awesome beauty. Even the fur on this animal is so beautiful, and we find it so pure that we wanted to associate this animal's awesomeness with our beautiful henrythejedi.com t-shirts, so that in the end we end up with a very beautiful animation that takes place. As you can see here, this is a very rare kind of tiger. I believe they call him the white tiger. So guys, this is such an awesome animal that the other day on the internet I just spent my time trying to download songs of a tiger roaring, you know. I wanted to hear the kinds of sounds that it makes. So, in other words, we're going to take a tutorial. We're going to take a look at a tutorial in which we create an animation that goes like this. Oh yeah, so as you saw for yourself, guys, we associate all the good points linked to the beautiful animal, the tiger, such as courage, strength, power. So we link that with our henrythejedi.com t-shirt. In other words, if you wear one of our t-shirts, you're gonna feel, of course, strength, energy, power, awesomeness, guys. So we are going to create an animation as the one that you're looking at your screens right now. And as you can see, it's going to involve so many creative steps. We have very beautiful video transitions taking place, very beautiful text animations also taking place, of course. Look at that, eh? So I really can't wait, guys, for us to get started on this one. So if you're not dressed up in awesomeness yet, so guys, now is the time to dress up in awesomeness. So simply go to our product page, you know, and look for our t-shirts, and yeah, order your henrythejedi.com t-shirt and dress up in awesomeness and become the center of attraction and attractiveness. And of course, thanks to Hans Zimmer for the beautiful Dark Knight soundtrack. And please don't be scared, ne? Don't be scared. It was only the tiger playing on my computer. I don't have a real life tiger right here, If I had one, probably it would have eaten me alive by now, And guess what? There wouldn't be another Henrythejedi in the world, you know. But anyways, let's get started. So right here inside of After Effects, we're going to import our footages that we're going to use by going to File, Import, File. Then we're going to look for the particular project files that accompany this tutorial. And of course, as you know by now, to get this tutorial for free, you can simply subscribe to our newsletter at our website by going to our tutorials page and simply click on our subscription buttons. There are plenty of them, as you can see, so that you can register to our great online forum so that we can download amazing tutorials like this ones for free. Okay, so we're going to import our materials that we're going to be using for our tutorial. We have our tiger animals there, and of course our images of Henrythejedi.com t-shirts. How we look so good in awesomeness. So we're going to import those images. We're going to create a new composition by going to Composition, New Composition. Let's change its duration to 7 seconds. And then, as you can see, we are working in the HDTV presets, which is 1280 by 720. Then we're going to start by importing our video layers. Let's start. We are going to start by importing our photo images. So we're going to start with this particular one here. As you can see, it's so big indeed. We're going to scale it by pressing S on the keyboard and then simply try to scale it down a bit, more or less like that. We're going to draw an elliptical mask around it by going to select the elliptical mask tool and then simply double click it so that it gives us this rounded corners. Don't worry, we're not trying to recreate MGM's roaring lion. No, we are not doing that. We are trying to work on animating a beautiful video element here. So we're going to select our animal layer and then press MM on the keyboard to bring up the masks. Then we're going to increase the feathering and then reduce the expansion to the point where we only end up with the image of the tiger clearly visible in the scene. Okay, you can always of course turn on the mask view tool there like that. Okay, next we're going to try to play with the scale of this particular layer. So we select our animal layer and then press S on the keyboard, click on the stopwatch of course to bring up its scaling. And the way in which we are going to animate this animal's scale is going to be like this. First, we are going to make sure that it starts from a full resolution like that. So my scale is sending at 81%. And then we are going to move to the end of the animation, in which we are going to scale it down like that. Okay. So basically, the animation will simply do that. I'm going to turn off my mask view tool, and then yeah. So basically this is what we have so far, right? Next we are going to create an adjustment layer by going to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. Of course, adjustment layer is a layer which when you apply the effect, it's going to affect whatever layers is below it. In other words, if you try to apply a color correction on the adjustment layer, it is going to affect the layer, our animal layer, okay? So we're going to scale this particular adjustment layer so that it ends up being like this rectangle here. Okay, and then with the adjustment layer selected, we'll select our adjustment layer and then we go to Effect, Distort, Transform. Okay, now as you can see, Transform gives us these many tools to play around with so that we can animate our layer. Okay, so we are going to simply play around with the scale. Okay, so you're going to see what we mean by that now. When we scale this, the adjustment layer so that it scales up like that, can you see what's happening with our tiger's image? Can you see what's happening to it? Of course, it is scaling up, exactly. And if we move our adjustment layer, you can see how its scale affects whatever object is below it. Okay, so cool animation that we're gonna work on. Let's make sure we are at the beginning of our animation. I'm going to scale this down a bit for the beginning. Press click on the stopwatch for the scale. Press U on the adjustment layer so that it can bring up its keyframes, and then around here we want it to scale up a bit, and then finally somewhere there we want it to scale down again, of course. Then we're going to select these keyframes and then press F9 on the keyboard so that we end up with a smooth keyframes. Select also the ones on the animal layer and then press F9, okay? So that now when the animation plays, this is what we have so far, okay? We need to play around with the position of our adjustment layer by selecting it, and then at the beginning we want it to start somewhere here, okay? Select our adjustment layer and then press Shift and then P on the keyboard so that it can also give us our position information. Click on the stopwatch for the position and then we move forward in time. Around here we want our layer to have zoomed in on our powerful, mighty tiger's face. So it's going to go like that, and then somewhere here our layer is simply, okay, let's do this. I'm going to composition settings. There's something interesting we are going to do. Let's change the duration to 9 seconds, okay? Now we are going to move out of the animation. Let's simply drag the adjustment layer and the animal layer as well. We are going to go around the 8th second or so. Then we are going to change the position of the adjustment layer to somewhere there. Select all the keyframes and then press F9 once more, and then we are going to bring down the composition's duration by moving its time setting like that, okay? So we drag this time here so that we only render 8 seconds, but as you can see, as the animation still goes on, our layer keeps on following its course, of course, okay? Next we are going to color correct our adjustment layer by selecting it and then go to Effect, Color Correction, Tint. Okay, you might not see it on your monitor, but maybe that's because of my settings, but it's under Effect, Color Correction, Tint. It's a bit off your screen right now, but don't worry, it's the tint just below the shadows and the highlight, okay? And then we are going to change the map to white color to a sort of orange brown color, like that, okay? So as you can see now, as our animation plays through, let's preview this. As our animation plays through, you can see how the color correction indeed takes place beautifully on our tiger's face right there, okay? Beautiful stuff happening. And then we might also want to add effects, color correction, curves, so that we bring out more highlights into our image here. Okay? Yeah, much better. Now it appears as if our tiger is glowing, you know? Glowing in awesomeness, of course. Beautiful. And then next we are going to bring our text animation by typing a simple text here. We are going to start with courage, because I always believe the tiger always represents courage in it. And then we are going to change our settings. Let's bring up the character window. We're going to change our text to Arial and then bold italic, like that. Then we're going to change the outline color to a reddish one. And then can you see what's increasing the outline does for us? Okay. And I want the courage to be in inverted commas, as if it was quoted by someone famous, you know? We always tend to read when someone famous quoted something, you know? Yeah, I mean, what's the most famous quote I can remember? Oh yeah, one of the most famous quotes I ought to remember is by King Leonidas of Sparta in the movie 300. He tells the Spartans, prepare for glory. And you know what I gotta say to you guys? I gotta tell you guys, Henrythejedi.com viewers, prepare for visual effects glory. Oh yeah. Now that's a quote worth remembering, don't you think? So next we're going to select our text So we are going to select our text, the carriage text layer, bring down its settings, and then where you see animate, let me make this bigger, where you see animate, we are going to add, let me really make this bigger, we select our text layer and then we bring down its settings like that, and then under text where we see animate, we are going to add a blur, okay, and then we are going to bring down also the range selector, okay. So now we need to move or rather we can add the keyframes right here. We are going to add the blurriness by first unchecking the lock there so that we don't constrain the proportions. We are going to try to add the blurriness, yeah, like that, along, I don't know, the y-axis. I added mine to about 71%, or you can always lock these settings. Let's see what happens when they are constrained. Yeah, you can see what kind of blurriness the text achieves when you do that, okay. Let's try to leave it at maybe like that for now. We are going to click on the stopwatches for the start and the end, and then we are going to start by first decreasing the end and decreasing the start value. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try this first. I'm going to move these keyframes ahead in time. We are going to select our layer and then press Shift T so that it can bring up its opacity. Let's do that again. Select it and then press Shift T. Yeah. We are going to tell it to start at an opacity, of course, of 0, like that, so it starts from nothing. And then let's move this keyframe a bit closer. Press F9 to make it more smooth animation. So we're going to animate our text by typing it in like that. Can you see what's happening? So along here we want our start to be completely 0 again. I hope this makes sense. Yeah. So basically we told, I'm going to press Shift T again, Shift T. So we told After Effects to animate our text by starting at an opacity of 0 like that, and then as it gets here we change the opacity to 100, and then the blurriness really plays a role here. Can you see what the blurriness really does? We left ours at a blurriness of 13 or so, and then as it gets blurry, the start value starts at 100 and the end value is at 0, and then when it gets here we completely remove the blurriness by manipulating the range selector, and right here at this point the start value is at 0, okay. If I was too fast, you can simply rewind what I just said, guys, so that you can get to do it better, okay. So let me preview what we just did now with the text especially. So guys, as we preview our animation, you can see our text starts out blurry, of course, and then it becomes clearer as it sets in, okay. And then I think our animation is a bit too flat at the moment. We need to add some dynamism to our text by selecting our text and then go to Effect, Distort, Transform, okay. And then we are going to tell it, let's see what happens when you rotate it. Nah, no rotation will help. We're going to, or maybe we might not even need this entire transform setting. So I'm going to delete the transform effect. Instead, we are going to select our text and then press S on the keyboard to bring up its scale. And then it's going to start at animating at a value which is slightly bigger than it is right now, as you can see there. And then as it sets in, it's going to, of course, scale down like that, okay. And then we are going to press P on the keyboard to bring up its position settings, and then we want our text to animate from that point in the timeline. So we are going to click on the stopwatch for the position like that. So it's going to animate from there, and then as it gets around here, let's go back to our length of animation, which is 8 seconds. As it gets here, we are going to move it like that, okay. Again, we're going to select our 2 keyframes and then press F9. Let's select our text once more and then press U on the keyboard to bring up all the keyframes. And then we're going to move around those which are too close, such as the opacity. We are going to select these keyframes here, except the positions keyframes, and then we're going to hold Alt and then drag them like that. So our text will come animated like that. Okay. Then we might need to move these ones here also. And again, we might need to move these keyframes ahead in time, because our text doesn't really animate from the beginning. It only appears around here. Okay. And I believe we need to change its scale to something bigger, something like 150%, so that it starts really big. And let's of course select the keyframes of the scale and then press F9 to smoothen them out. So our text should come out like that. Okay. And then we might need to move this one like that. So our text really starts big. Okay. So when I preview mine right now, this is what I'm getting so far. Beautiful animation taking place indeed. And then you can see when our text comes, it's a bit sort of a bit still difficult to read. So to fix that, we're going to create a new solid black color, please, and then we're going to scale it down like that, so that it simply occupies this area here. We're going to move it just below the text layer. Then we're going to double click on the elliptical mask tool for it to give us a mask, and then we're going to press MM on the keyboard, increase the expansion, increase the feather rather, and then reduce the expansion like that. And then we are going to press T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity, and then reduce the opacity a bit like that. The whole idea is just for it to give us some space, some room for us to still be able to read our text layer like that. Okay. And when our animal still appears, we can always click on the stopwatch for the opacity, move this keyframe up. It's going to start from nothing, so that it still gives our layer some time to animate, to appear properly. So it starts from 0 and then gets darker as our text comes through like that. Okay, so now you can see it's much more easier to read our text below our layers. Okay, beautiful stuff. Now once we've completed this particular animation, you can see we have more than 4 separate elements that we need to animate, right? And I know, especially if you work in the TV industry, this becomes quite a tedious task to complete. Okay, in other words, replicating the same kinds of animation more or less to all of these layers. So I'm going to show you a way in which you can cheat around it, you know. But one of the last things you might want to do is select our adjustment layer and then go to Effect, Perspective, Drop Shadow, just to give it more depth. Mine is not even doing anything really. I wonder why. If I drop him, nah, it's not necessary. Anyways, what you're going to do next is go to this particular layer and then we're going to select all these layers here. So we go to Edit, Select All, and then we go to Edit, Copy, and then we are going to Composition, New Composition. Make sure of course it's 9 seconds and it's still 1280 by 720, and then click OK, and then we simply go to Edit, Paste. So now it still gives us all the layers that we had with the previous animation. And here is a magic trick now. We are going to take our, what is Gianna? Yeah, my great friend Gianna Rafusa. Very loyal friend, and in life there is nothing that I value more than loyalty such as loyalty from this friend of mine. Yeah, it does not stop contributing to Henrythejedi.com content. And my goodness, it's such a pleasure to have him around. Hi Gianna. Yeah, so with our composition 2 selected, we are going to drag the Gianna footage just below like that, okay? And then we are going to, let's see, we're going to move him above the animal layer. We're going to press U to bring up the scale, to bring up the settings of the animal, and we are simply going to delete our tiger's animation. We select our Gianna's layer, and then we double click on the elliptical mask tool once more to give us an elliptical mask. Press MM once more to bring up the mask settings, and then we're going to increase the feather like that, okay, and reduce the expansion a bit so that again we focus more on him, of course. Yeah, and of course, doesn't he look so awesome in the Henrythejedi.com t-shirt? So his animation will happen like that. But then of course we know what to do. We select our Gianna layer, and then we press S on the keyboard to bring up the scale. He's going to start big also, big like that, and then somewhere he must start even bigger. Yeah, somewhere here. As we said, we agreed our animations will only animate for 8 seconds. So somewhere here, after the animation complete, we are going to keep scaling him down. Yeah. So we are going to select both his keyframes and then press F9 on the keyboard. So now Gianna should animate like that, okay? And then we are going to change from courage to strength. He's a very strong fellow, you know. I remember how he helped me move when I needed to move around here in Pretoria in South Africa. I called him late at night, and he just woke up and came to help me out, man. As I said, guys, I don't know where you can get, where else I would have gotten such a friend. We are going to position him a bit down so that we can see his head properly. Even lower so that we really get to see his head properly. So he will animate like that. Okay. Maybe he went too low there, so we're going to move him a bit up again. Oh yeah. And then for Gianna's layer, we are going to the adjustment layer and then try to bring the curves up a bit so that it brings out more highlights into his image like that, okay? So yeah, now we have much more of a beautiful looking image of him right there, okay? And then of course next we are going to cheat through the same procedure again. We are going to select all the layers, or we go to edit, select all, and then we go to edit, copy, and then we go to composition, new composition. As you can see the settings there, it's still 9 seconds, and then click OK, and then we go to edit, paste, okay? And then now we are going to bring the girl's image. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, there's no more girl image. Oh, there she is. Oh, she's standing with the Jedi. So we are going to delete Gianna layer, and you can see as we are walking through, each of these compositions are kept intact, you know. So we select this particular image here. We're going to double click on the elliptical mask tool, press MM once more, increase the feather like that, reduce the expansion like that, okay? And then let's see, in here of course we're going to press S on our image to bring up the scale, and then we want it to start real big, okay, real big like that, and then around here 8 seconds we're going to reduce our animation. We go beyond its endpoint, and then we are gonna keep scaling it down. Select the 2 keyframes and then press F9. And by the way, guys, I needed to tell you a secret. This particular pose here especially was taken by Gianna Rafuza himself. I don't know, I'm gonna keep praising this friend of mine. He's such a good friend, really. Yeah. And I think at the end our scale is a bit still too much, so we're going to scale it down a bit like that, so our layer should begin to animate like that, okay? Beautiful stuff. And in here we might want, instead of strength, we might want let's see, we are going to have passion. Oh yeah, right here at henrythejedi.com we have a passion for excellence and creativity. So our passion will write itself there. So this is a lady called Amo, and I guess you know who that is, right? It looks like a Calvin Klein model, you know? Yeah, that's me right there. Oh yeah.